everyone. Welcome back to another episode of TBIC, the best in sports entertainment. Today we got, another special guest. Keep the special guest rolling. Rodreen, Howell, Chief Spartan, physical fitness. What's up with you? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Another day, man. I appreciate you for inviting me on here, man, to talk, man. But all is well, man. Healthy. You know what I mean? Another day, another dollar.
Did I jack your name up or the name of your
No, you was
business?
right.
Anything? I was right?
Yeah, you was right. Chief Spartan, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Rodreen Howell, the real name, Chief Spartan, you know the nickname. So you got everything right, bro.
Oh, all right, that's what's up. So I'm gonna get right to you. Your career as a football player, at what age did this start? Did you go right into like some JV varsity? Or did you start with like the 129 Bulldogs, some 8th and Lehigh? Like, how your whole football career started?
So quiet as kept. I ain't started playing organized football until I turned 12 years old. My 8th grade year, I played for the Blackhawks. So I played 2 years of Little League football. I played for the 110s. I played for the Blackhawks. I played DN, and I played right tackle. Then they wound up moving me to, middle linebacker and receiver for one game. But the story behind that was I started off with the 125s. Our 125s folded because we ain't have enough players. Because of my age and my size, they let me move down to the 110s while a lot of other people had to quit and wait the next year. When I moved down to 110s because of my size, they moved me to guard and DN. But for the last game of the season, they wound up letting me play middle linebacker and receiver. Then my next year, which was my 9th grade year.
No, not to interject, because that's just like a extreme, interchangeable rule of positions to me, not on duty. So it's like right guard, right tackle, you on the offensive line. Defensive line, you going after the quarterback instead of protecting the quarterback. Then you get the role of the middle linebacker. The middle linebacker is like the quarterback of the defense. How is all this interchangeable roles happening simultaneously?
So because I was the biggest person on the team, but I was also the best person on the team, that's why I got moved. That's why I was at those positions. But when it came along the lines, they like, let me put this guy because he's smart, he's fast, he can move, he's agile, he can tackle. Let's see him at receiver and also linebacker. So when they moved me to those positions, they seen, he really can do all these positions. He can play quarterback, he can play receiver, he can play guard, he can block, he can tackle, he can move, he can do all that. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, it was only for one game. So I only got to play those positions for one game, which was like the last game of the season. Got a catch, was making all the tackles at middle linebacker spot. So I didn't really get to showcase what I really can do at those positions. You're talking about playing on the line when you really just in the trenches. You're blocking. You're blocking, and you also, you're on the other side of the line blocking. Whereas when you at the linebacker spot, like you said, linebacker is also being a Mike linebacker. You're the brains of the team.
Now, what's the Mike linebacker for those who don't understand? What does that term mean?
So your Mike linebacker is your middle linebacker. Your Willie linebacker is your weak side linebacker, and your Sam linebacker is your strong side linebacker. So usually if you hear somebody say Mike, Willie, or Sam, them your 3 linebackers. Your Mike being your middle linebacker, your Sam being your strong side linebacker, and your Willie being your weak side linebacker.
I'm cracking up because I can't apply this to practical football, but when I play somebody in Madden, bro, yeah, now that's what the Mike and the Sam, I never knew that my whole life. Yeah, bro. Now, I ain't going to do this with the Eagles, but on Madden, yeah, though. I appreciate that knowledge.
No problem. So like I said, then my next couple years playing football, because I only really played 5 years with pads. I played 2 years of Little League, then I played 3 years of varsity football. So
who you played for?
I played for Franklin.
Okay.
So, I played varsity for 3 years, my 10th, 11th, 12th grade year. I never sat the bench.
Was y'all good?
So my first 2 years, we was regular.
Okay.
We was on the bottom tier. We wasn't that good. But my last year, we was actually good. We won 10 games out of 11.
Okay, that's awesome.
But what's crazy is we was 10-1, and we couldn't go to the playoffs.
Now, is that due to some type of regional politics?
The reason why we couldn't go to the playoffs, so my last year playing high school football, they sort of switched divisions up. So they wound up putting us in a division called AAA.
Oh, so I was right. Regional politics.
There you go. Yep. So they wound up switching the divisions up, and that year only one team can make the playoffs. That one game we lost, we couldn't make the playoffs. They wound up switching those things up the next season.
Right, next year. That and you know that always happened, and I hate to be the team that's caught up in that unjust, but at least I respect the league for getting it right the next following year. You know what I mean? And not to switch subjects to basketball, but I am briefly to think about, the red, when the people hit the buzzer beater in the red, and I was like, dang, I felt like the Lakers had cheated Sacramento out that championship or whatever like that. And now after the next following year, they got it together. So was you ever a part of a situation outside of the one you just named where that happened again?
No, that was it. To be honest, during my flag career, things was pretty cool. But for the most part, because me playing, sports, padded football, that was the only season that I was really on a really good team. Every other time, I was a bottom tier team. I started, but the team wasn't really good. I think out of all those years, the most games I probably won in the season, besides this season, was 4 games. That year we won 10.
So what was the hardest position of football playing for you?
The hardest position, to be honest, is to play football because, honestly, I played almost every position, right? And quiet as kept, the hardest position to play on offense was quarterback.
Quarterback?
Mm-hmm. And quiet as kept, I struggled with getting a snap. I couldn't get the snap. I struggled with getting a snap from the center.
Now, not to judge, from all your previous positions, it wouldn't have been nothing told me that you was a quarterback. So, how did you get the opportunity to even playing quarterback from all those other different positions? Because me, as a person who watched football that didn't really play it organized, I can't fathom how could that happen.
Mm-hmm. So to be honest, my senior year, I used to practice. When we used to practice, I used to, throw the ball to the receivers. I was never strictly the quarterback. It was always our quarterback, Frank. I was always the slot back and the safety. But we had no other quarterbacks, honestly. It was Frank, and then really that was it. You had your JV quarterbacks, but we really had nobody else to really plug in for that varsity role. So my senior year, we had a scrimmage against Germantown. We actually broke that field in.
Okay.
Germantown field when they redid it into a super site. So my coach was like, you're gonna go in and get some snaps at quarterback, even though I was doing a little bit here and there at practice, but I went in there and got a couple snaps at quarterback. I ain't do good at all. I almost threw a pick off, did a couple handoffs, and that was it.
Now, was your previous quarterback any good?
Frank was solid. It was funny. Frank was my quarterback in Little League too. So my first year putting the pads on for the 125s, he was the quarterback. But remember I told you the team folded. So we ain't had that team. But for the next year, for my 145-pound year, he was my quarterback that year. Then, like I said, in varsity, he was my quarterback for 11th and 12th grade too.
Now, I'm still on the football topic, but you made me think about, something that happens with football and camaraderie. Because you said he was the quarterback from in your younger years, on the 120s and things of that nature. So as you go through middle school and high school, pretty much you even played with these players or you played against them. So it's pretty much a camaraderie and a rivalry, being built simultaneously at the same time. And a lot of the youth in these current football games, sometimes at the end of them, it turns to shootouts and they have guns in the grass, when they play against the other schools. So when you guys were playing against, other schools, how was that era as far as rivalry? Did you feel frightened for your life? Did you guys fight the other school? Just a brief synopsis of how was that lifestyle?
You talking about 2 different eras. So when we played, man, football was a safe haven. You ain't had to worry about nothing. I was at peace. It was like us going to Cheney. When we was up Cheney, I ain't had to worry about nothing. I was at peace. I was safe. So my years of playing football, no matter who was the rivalry, no matter who we was going against, you had nothing to worry about, because at the end of the day, if we did have something to worry about, it went no further than hands. It went no further than fighting. But we never even got to that point where as though we had to fight. You know what I mean? My eras of playing football compared to now, like now you really can't even pay me to really go watch a little league game or a high school game, because you know what comes with it. These young boys playing with guns. Back then, we wasn't thinking about that. Remember, we ain't had social media. We ain't had none of those things. You know, so back then, let-outs was popular. Like things that we was doing back then, they ain't doing now. Everything is social media. They ain't really got the social skills, none of that type of stuff. Back then, we everything we was doing, you know what I mean, it was hands-on. We had those social skills because we had no choice but to learn those things, because everything we did was hands-on, was practical. Compared to now, it's different. You know what I mean? I learned how to play football from just being outside. So by the time when it came time for me to play football, it was second nature. I just had to learn the organizational part of it, the skill part and the practical part of being on an organized team. Everything else I knew how to do. You know, so you talking about, you know, different times. Back then, like I said, back then, it was peace, you know, it was unity, it was all that. Now, it ain't that. You know, now you hear more shootings than anything. Back then, you ain't never had to worry about that. You went and played football and you went home with a smile on your face.
Yeah, because that, you know, that's the one thing at an alarming rate, you know, alerted me, being a person that works with the kids and the youth. And I'm like, you know, what's the reoccurring thing with these kids, you know, shooting after these games? And then pretty much, you know, I just pretty much asked my nephew, who's actually there, who actually be at the game, actually. And he, you know, pretty much said what it is, man. At pretty much, it really probably start over a girl, is even over a girl, or over a game that they feel like a referee cheated or could have won. And next thing you know, they bring in, they hiding the guns inside the grass under the stadiums and things of that nature. And a lot of them scared and don't even want to do it. It's just the peer pressure, you know, to do it. So now let's transition from you being in high school to playing college, you know, sports. You know, the transition of playing with people in your neighborhood, opposed to building camaraderie and might meeting somebody from Hawaii. Like when you was with the 110s, y'all all probably was from North, or bare minimum all from Philly. Now you in this collegiate place and you playing with people could be from all over the world. Like, how was that with the camaraderie?
It was funny, bro. You know, I tried to play football for Cheney. I never got a chance to play. So my freshman year, before I got to Cheney, I went to a school called Seton Hill in Greensburg, PA.
Okay.
I was there during spring during the beginning of August for practice, for getting ready for the season. I ain't stay. Only was there for a week. I transferred into Cheney all in that matter of time. So I was at Seton Hill the beginning of August. I was at Cheney the end of August. I tried to come out there and play for that team. I tried to come out there and play for Cheney. When I got there, that went left. Tried to talk to coaches. You know, we in the middle of the season here. You know, I just got a lot of running around. I tried my first 3 years up there, I tried to play for Cheney. I just got a lot of pushback and running around. And I just left it at that. So when I was in Cheney, I did play flag football and rough touch back in the city. So I did 2 seasons of that while I was up Cheney. And I just did, you know, I did the intramural thing up Cheney. So, I was good up there, I was the man up there in the intramural up Cheney. So I just did intramural up Cheney for my 4 years up Cheney. And I did, you know, rough touch and flag, you know, the 2 seasons. And when I tell you it was different, going to play rough touch and flag with grown men, being 17 compared to playing high school football, I thought it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
My first snap out there, they put me out there on punt. They said, go block him. I lied to you not. It had these gloves on. They hiked the ball. It smacked me in my face 2 times. Pat, pat. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, this football? You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. The ref called the penalty, and he replayed it down. He smacked me up again. But yeah, you know, it was an adjustment because I went from playing padded football to 8-man rough touch flag. It's different, you know. So I had to adjust of playing 11 on 11 to 8 on 8. You know what I mean?
Yes,
you know,
sir.
and I did pretty good at it. I got an award for it. You know, I was solid at it. You know, team was regular. We got put out the playoffs the 2 times I played, and that was it. Then as you know, being up Cheney, you know, playing intramural, you know, met a lot of people up there. You know, we had the typical people from Philly, Jersey.
Now, explain for those who don't know, you know, what's intramurals. Like, what is the intramural collegiate league about?
So, you know, intramural is just like an in-house, you know, sports that they have in the schools compared to, you know, people playing on the official team. So intramural is, you know, organized sports, you know, within the school level, within, you know, with people just to do, you know, on some fun time.
Does it come with a referee?
It does come with a referee. They had their own format, so you know, like, you know, when we play intramural basketball up Cheney, you know, we had our referees. You know, we pick, you know, whoever wanted to referee, you can referee.
I ain't get DMPs and intramurals. Intramurals, I was the average 50, 40. Oh man, but we gonna focus back on you know, Chief Spartan.
Yeah. So you know, we had the intramurals, you know, so we had the referees out there. If I ain't mistaken, shout out to my man Shusky. You know, he was one of the people who you know, he handled, you know, a lot with the intramurals, you know, refereeing and all that. So, you know, somebody got the what we had, the work study jobs. Yeah. I believe that was a work study job. If I'm not mistaken. You know, you can handle the, you know, the intramural things. You know, so you had your you had that. I believe we did like a 10 on 10 or something like that out there. You know, it was flag football. You know, a couple of people got, you know, was captains of their teams, and they just found people on campus to play on the team.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, I asked you a trick question with the college football thing, right? Because eventually I got on the college basketball team, but what I didn't understand is politics. And it's not about being good. I couldn't understand, like, how could you be better than somebody and somebody get to play and not you, and they trash and they not doing good. The record is showing such, like, I don't get it. So you got these coaches and these people that do recruitment, and the recruitment, they say if they give Johnny Walker $15,000 a semester to be the running back for the school. Now, if they just get brother Rodreen a walk-on, you know what I mean, who could do 5 times is better than this person they invested in, you know, their job could be on the line. And even though by not doing good, their job gonna be on the line anyway, but to make a financial decision that don't pay off right in front of the AD's faces is the reason why a lot of people don't get on the field.
Yeah, man. So, and it's funny you say that, right? My reality really hit from high school to college, right? You know, you go from being a man to not getting no offers, you know, to trying to find a way to trying to, you know, make that next step from a high school to a collegiate, you know, level. And to see people that you was better than, like you said, get scholarships, get looked at, and you don't get none of that. It's crazy. And it's like, you know, like even when I was up Cheney, I'm like, y'all picked him over me. I can't play, but he playing on the team, you know, and people, and this honestly, people will tell you, like, when we was up there and we would play against the football team would come at me like, you know, like the players on the football team would be like, yeah, you know, yeah, you good out there, but you won't be able to do this with pads on. You won't be able to do it on the team. And I'm like, you think I can't? I just ain't never really get the shot.
Yeah, it's definitely about that opportunity.
And I ain't get the shot. So my senior year was 2009-10. We had a championship game on the football field. The coaches was watching. First play of the game, I picked it off. Everybody snapping, yeah, man, cheat, boom, boom, boom. One coach came up to me the next day in the cafeteria. He said, "What's up, Chief?" I turned around. I looked. I'm like, "Oh." He like, "Man, what's going on?" He said, "What do I need for you to do to play on my team?" I'm like, "I'm about to graduate. I'm done. I'm done."
He said it's over. Now let's graduate right into The NFL.
Expose your business to millions of potential consumers and clients. If no one knows who you are, you don't make any money. Put your logo here. Add your business here. They say when you're green, you grow, but when you're ripe, you're rotten. That means those who aren't moving forward is standing still. Marketing is everything. Grow your business today. Product placement, brand exposure, merchandise display. It's time to put your business and your brand in front of millions of potential clients. Call 267-534-5053. That's 267-534-5053. It's time to grow.
I see you on Facebook. You starting all these comments. You know, you should have a forum. Like, it's like you can break down, you know, all the best positions and players in football and things of that nature. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and I don't want you to say the Bengals, because that's, you know what I mean, I'm already gonna tell you I don't want you to say the Bengals. So what team that did not make the playoffs last year that you feel like they have a chance to go all the way? And by all the way, I mean winning the Super Bowl, and don't say the Bengals.
Let me just look at my teams list right now, just to look, see who I can rock with.
Yeah, do your research. Research.
Let me do my research real quick. And it's crazy, like you said, but you think about it. You look at the Bengals, like I said, when we was talking, I'm like, you know, like the first team in head, mine was Bengals. I'm like, the Bengals got a chance, you know, and they ain't make the alls. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go with this team, right? And the reason why I'm gonna go with it, because
and what team is it?
It's the Bucks.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm gonna go with the Bucks, and I'm gonna say this: the team that won the Super Bowl this year
didn't beat the Bucks.
The last two playoffs appearance, right?
Yeah, I'm following you.
They got a solid team, right? You know, with Baker Mayfield, you know, they got a nice running back right now. Defense played pretty solid. Even dealing with injuries, they still was competing last year, even though they division wasn't the best. But the thing is, you know, you got a fighter in Baker Mayfield, right? You got a running back that's giving you 1,000 yards in the season. You got two solid receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You got a solid tight end in Cade Otton. You got a leader over there on the defense in Levante David. You know, you got an okay secondary. It ain't the best, but you know, and you know, this season they made a couple good acquisitions. They picked up Hassan Reddick on the D-line. So, you know, you got a couple good acquisitions that can probably help them, make them be a contender.
At least a playoff. I mean,
at least a playoff contender.
You definitely gave a great argument, especially they the only team that have beaten the the best in the playoffs. You know, so you definitely got okay. So best position on, let's see. I mean, I'm trying to get you something because you think you smart with this football stuff. I gotta try to trick you. I don't want to ask you nothing. Okay, what do the Browns need to make the playoffs next season?
Browns need everything. They need everything. But the most important piece, right? You know, the foundation of any good team, right? When you look at football, right, and you look at the foundation, the game won in the trenches, right? So when you look at the Eagles, for example, right, the Eagles got the best O-line in the NFL, right?
Okay.
And one thing their defense had this year was a great D-line. When anybody that watched that Super Bowl, they never blitzed the whole game and made constant pressure the whole game with full linemen.
Now, for those who don't know, how can you tell when a defense don't blitz? Because a person like me, I could see them get a sack, and I can assume it was a blitz and not know no better.
So you want to know when somebody don't blitz? On anybody that's lined up on that line, they the only ones that rushed in. Okay. So your linebackers, your secondary, anybody in secondary, they all drop back in the zone. So if anybody that watched that Super Bowl, the Eagles, for the most part, had 7 to 8 people in coverage the whole game. All they did was rush. They rushed. They played a safe defense. I believe a cover 4. Everybody get back. D-line, we gonna play off of y'all.
So what's your favorite position in football, not on duty?
It was crazy. You know, I grew up playing receiver and safety, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, as I got into the flag aspect of football, I went to playing linebacker and quarterback. I grew to like linebacker more than anything.
Top 5 linebackers of all time.
top 5 linebackers of all time. First and foremost, I'm gonna go with Ray Lewis.
Okay.
I think he just, he the best linebacker to ever do it. After that, people like to get into the old school linebackers like the Mike Singletaries and all of them. I never really got to watch Mike Singletary play, but I knew Mike Singletary had a weakness. He was not a cover linebacker, but that goes back into a time where it was in a run heavy, time. I'm gonna go with this person, right? And you probably seen me talking about him on Facebook, Luke Kuechly, as one of the best linebackers to ever play. Luke Kuechly played 7 years. I mean 7, maybe 8 years, right? He was a first or second team All-Pro every year, but his rookie year. His rookie year was defensive rookie of the year, right? When you think, like you just said, middle linebackers, which is the Mike linebacker, which Luke Kuechly was. They the quarterback of the defense.
Yes, sir.
Tony Dungy said it himself. Luke Kuechly is the Peyton Manning of defenses. He had no weakness. He knew what you was doing. He was a sideline-to-sideline linebacker. He can cover. He can tackle. He's everything you need. And I know the play, so I already got an advantage. I know where you going at, so I'm going to beat you to the ball. So that's why I got him in the top 5. Also, somebody else I feel like was a top 5 linebacker to me, Patrick Willis. Played for the Niners. Somebody else whose career was cut too short for me. Was good, athletic, freakish athletic at the linebacker spot. He can do it all too. So I definitely got Pat Willis in that. After that, I'm going to be honest. I got to put Brian Urlacher up there. I got to put Urlacher up there, and these linebackers I seen play. Urlacher, he was dominant in his era. When you think of after Ray Lewis, you thought of Urlacher in his time playing football. He was athletic, college safety, NFL, fast, 6'4", 250. Can really do it all. He wasn't the best to me in the run game, but he still was good enough on top of being able to cover and everything else. And a lot of people might disagree with me on this one, but I got to give it to him because of how long he's been in the NFL and how long he's played at a high level.
Oh, that's tenure right here.
And that's Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner is a 9-time All-Pro. He was just an All-Pro last season with the Redskins. He got drafted with Luke Kuechly. He's still playing at a high level. So when people sit there and say, why Bobby Wagner, I can name 10 linebackers better, show me why they better. He playing at a high level. He played with a good group of linebackers. In that time playing with them other linebackers, he's part of the Legion of Boom. He's played at a high level. He's beat them out as being voted as an All-Pro. And he's still at this age at the top of his game. So them will be my top 5. It'll be Ray Lewis, Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis, Brian Urlacher, Bobby Wagner.
So now I'm going to put you in a managerial seat. It's the draft. New York Giants up. It's your pick. Who you getting?
And the Giants got, the 3rd pick?
Yeah, it's on you.
All right,
and you can get whoever you want. Your pick wasn't off the board. So happily, you can get anybody you want. And this is the Giants' future. Y'all just gave up Saquon. Y'all just lost Daniel Jones and did whatever. Like, look, man, what you doing?
I'll be honest, man. I'm going Shador. I like Shador. I mean, a lot of people.
Travis, the running back. You're not going to try to get the running back. You ain't going for the DE from Penn State.
Abdul Carter? Yeah. So what's the last quarterback the Giants had? What, Eli? That was solid.
Like winning or something?
Yeah, winning. Eli.
I guess a Super Bowl would make you a winner,
too. He won 2 Super Bowls, but besides that, they struggle with the quarterback position. You got, the young boy, the receiver they just drafted last year.
Malik Neighbors,
who's pretty good. This is a running back heavy draft. So, you ain't got to go running back heavy you ain't got to pick a running back at the 3rd pick. They just drafted a D in a couple years ago. So, Abdul Carter does make sense, but I feel like they're pretty okay in that position on top of spending money on another pick, free agent that they picked up last year.
Like, so even though now y'all got Russell Wilson, though, that don't come off the table. Now you already got your quarterbacks on there, so you making Shador fight early. Is you giving him the starting job, or is like Russell Wilson mentoring him? Like, how is this gonna go?
I let him grow, man. This is the problem with the NFL now, right, compared to back then. When quarterbacks was drafted last year, even talking back in the college level, college footballs was programs. They're not programs no more. So these kids is not really being developed. That's why they coming to the NFL now and they not being successful. And they ask for a lot. They coming straight to the NFL to start. They're not ready. You know what I'm saying? So when you really look at it, right, Aaron Rodgers, for example, right? Aaron Rodgers ain't start till like his third, maybe a fourth year. Came up under Brett Favre. I get to learn. The NFL, going from college to NFL was like, it's different. You know what I mean? It's different levels. It's way faster than everything else.
So if for your system, you telling me if you had let Jamarcus Russell learn from Aaron Rodgers 3-4 years, Jamarcus Russell could have been somebody great if he wasn't just thrown right into the fire?
I think Jamarcus Russell just was Jamarcus Russell. He wasn't even studying tape. He wasn't even studying tape. They did something with Jamarcus Russell. Like, I think it was somewhere, so they gave him blank tapes and then came to, the quarterback room and asking questions about it. He just straight up lied. I'm like, he ain't just care. You know what I mean? His mindset was different, man. And, that's a big thing with football, right? You got to have a mindset. You got to have a work ethic. You got to have a will. A lot of these boys don't have that. And then somebody like Jamarcus Russell, you got to remember, he came in, and that's when college quarterbacks were still getting big, or first-round picks, first overall picks, was still getting money. He got like a $50, $70 million contract.
Guaranteed.
Something crazy. He got 20, 30 million guaranteed. So, like.
You wasn't impressed when he sat on his knee at the 50-yard line and threw the ball.
he had a cannon, but he ain't got nothing else. So it's like, you think of somebody like him, right? He got the cannon, but he ain't got nothing. He got the brains. I can throw the football, but I can't do nothing else.
Now, in his defense, now this was his argument. He said when he first came in the league, he thought Randy Moss was going to be on his team. He felt like him and Moss would have been a great tandem. And he said, now, why would Tom Brady need Moss? Tom Brady, the best quarterback arguably of all time. Why would he need Moss? So he felt he was railroaded. What you got to say about that?
There ain't no excuse. I mean, because at the end of the day, I'm picking you as the first overall pick. You got to come to work. You know what I mean? Moss made a lot of quarterback jobs easy. All I got to do is throw the ball up to you. You know what I mean? So I understand that piece, but at the same time, you still got to come and work because football is deeper than me just taking the ball, dropping the ball back at quarterback and throwing the ball up, especially on that level. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to dissect defenses, read all that. You know what I mean? So you talking about Randy Moss, that ain't a good enough excuse.
All right, so we about to come to a closing on the football, and then we're going to talk about some workout regimens for a second. But, before we do that, Chief Spartans projections, your top 5 pick coming out this year's NFL draft. Who the top 5 people you're projecting is going to come out to the NFL draft? And if you can allocate them to a team and why, that'd be great. But just for the sake of information, if you could just give us your top 5 coming out the NFL draft.
So I think this draft class, right, is a running back heavy draft class. So the kid out of Ohio State, that running back, I think he's going to be pretty good. But I'm gonna take a step back. I think Travis Hunter is the best player in the draft.
So is that number 1?
That's number 1 for me.
Okay.
After that, I'm going Abdul Carter.
Okay, the defensive end from Penn State.
On defensive end, I'm going Abdul Carter. I'm gonna say after that, I know there's other guys that's really projected, high. I'm just having a brain fart right now, but I'm gonna go Cam Ward. And the reason why I'm gonna go Cam Ward because I think he's the best quarterback in this draft class.
Over Shador.
Yeah, I think he's the best quarterback in this draft class.
I'm gonna let you finish before I ask you the question because I'm just trying to understand why you ain't give him to the Giants. I guess Shador fits there, but I'm gonna let you finish what you're saying. Go ahead.
Yep. So I got them 3. I got Abdul. I said Shador yet?
No, you didn't.
Shador my 4th. And I think, I like Shador. I still think the reason why I said those, I'm going to jump into that. The reason why I picked Cam over Shador, I think Shador needs a lot at this moment to be successful in the league. He had a lot at Colorado. I think Cam, his tangibles, I think he more like NFL ready right now. If that makes sense. Like Shedeur, you give him like, it's almost like a Hurts situation, right? You give Hurts everything he needs, go manage out there, he's going to be good. I think with Cam Ward, he doesn't need to have as much right now to be a little bit more successful than Shedeur right now.
So what you just saying, Jalen Hurts just have everything he need out on the field to be great, and he just not great? Like, what kind of state? I'm just trying to understand the statement.
I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You got to give it to him because of his production. Okay. But his tangibles is not the best. And also,
like how he...
Yeah, it's just like he's not the, your quarterback. You look for your quarterbacks to throw the ball. He can make the throws, but, he has everything. And, I've seen him without A.J. Brown. So if you pay attention to last season when the Eagles played the Bucks, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith was hurt.
Hold on, before we finish, okay, give me your fifth person.
My fifth person, I'm just going to throw the young boy out there for Ohio State, the running back. I can't think of his name right now. Not Jitney. Jitney from
that's the Arizona guy.
Yeah. I'm gonna just go with the running back from Ohio State.
All right, we're gonna have to find out because you're a defender. Mm-hmm. Before we transition into this, this physical fitness attribute, you made me think about something that some people said about Shedeur. He's patting the ball before he throw it, and as a defender, that might can alert, like get a Ashanti Samuels jump. Mm-hmm. So. And you just said something about Cam Ward. You know what I mean as far as the intangibles. So something like Shedeur Sanders, like patting the ball before he throw it, and you as a defender, is it easier for you to key on a Shedeur Sanders opposed to a Cam Ward?
Most quarterbacks pat the ball. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So your Brees patted the ball. Brady patted the ball. They put a video out there showing all quarterbacks patting the ball before they throw it. Okay. Even when I play quarterback, I pat the ball. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a habit. Can it? It can, but like I said, I don't think because I'm patting the ball, it's alerting me. Or I got an advantage of intercepting in the past. Like I said, Brady patted the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of great quarterbacks pat the ball.
Now I thought I seen that. You know what I mean? But I haven't actually played under professionally football on no level, you know what I mean? And I ain't want to just make it an assumption. And I felt like it was just something to try to put his draft stock down. You know what I mean? They always come up with certain reasons why someone shouldn't go drafted as high, and they wound up being the steal of the draft. So last question, how far do you think Shedeur can fall in this draft?
He ain't falling out the first round.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, for real, they tried to compare those other quarterbacks to Shedeur, right? They tried to do the Carson Becks, and I guess they got the quarterback out of Ole Miss, and you had who else? Jalen Milroe, all those other quarterbacks, Tyler Stowe. They tried to do all that. He's still the second best quarterback in the draft. So at the Cam Ward goes, the next quarterback going to go is Shedeur.
Just hands down.
Unless the only reason why they trying to, because he had like his pop, right? Yeah. Cocky, swag, and all that. They don't like that. But at the end of the day, he's still the second best quarterback in this draft.
Like the LeVar Ball effect. That's like, no, get your pop out of here. It must be the money. We don't feel like prime time and all that.
And they might, and sorry about that, but they might, they might just be trying to, drop him down so he can get to a team that they really want him to get to.
It's like politics.
Yeah, politics is crazy.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
they might want him at
9 for the Saints.
Yeah,
a team that he want to go to, like a team I want to go play here, or I want to, what I'm saying. So, the league get real political, and like I don't know if you remember, Eli was drafted to the Chargers. I'm not playing for the Chargers. So do you remember? All right, well, the Giants drafted Phillip Rivers. We made that swap. So things go like that.
And that's good history and a great way to transition from football to physical.
This episode of TBISC is brought to you by Mecca Care LLC. Mecca Care LLC, giving you an abundance of what you need. They're a home care agency located in the Philadelphia area, Montgomery County, Chester County, Bucks County, and Philadelphia County. As I mentioned, if you're looking to get home care services for your loved one, call 215-644-8341. That's 215-644-8341. And it's Mecca Care LLC, located at 5025 Germantown Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 1944. If you're looking for home care services for your loved one, contact Mecca Care LLC, giving you an abundance of what you need. It's 215-644-8341. That's 215-644-8341.
You're not a football player no more, you know what I mean, as far as competing professionally. So what would make one, keep in shape after, not being an athlete? What's the importance did you find in that?
Hey, Dane, man, you look at it right when we was young, we was always moving, active. That's how, people think like, all right, we was younger. Dang, I ain't gained no weight when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Because we was active. And people think your metabolism slow down because you get older. No, you just stop doing things that you did when you was younger. You're not active. You're not moving.
You're not running. You're not climbing the alley gates. You're not hopping and jumping and playing Ding Dong Dixie and all that type of stuff.
You ain't doing none of that. So, I heard a saying, man, it stuck with me a while back, and it said, don't let the old man in. Gotta stay active. You know what I'm saying? So,
now repeat that again to the and look right into the camera, and let them know that. That's important.
Don't let the old man in, man. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is you gotta stay active, man. One of the things, like I said, shout out to my gym at LA Fitness City Line. I work out with a good group of guys. But one of my guys I want to shout out is my old head Suleiman. He's 67 years old. He looked like he 30. And one thing about it, he show up and he stay in the gym. Keep him youthful. Consistency. Persistent.
So someone that is struggling to have a consistent workout regimen, like how do you gain that love and make that body fiendful? I never was a guy that worked out, but when I got on the basketball team, I noticed sometimes my body just fiend for some push-ups. And right now, with my body fiend for a lot, it's just pull-ups. It just is like that. So like, how do one get that love for that workout regimen to stay consistent?
So the thing is, man, we're in a real big social media world right now, man, and it's easy to get lost because you got people coming at you 1,000 ways with workouts, right? The thing is, man, you got to learn yourself, learn who you are, self-awareness, right? And you got to tap into yourself and what works best for you. That's the problem. People don't do what works best for them. You try to steal somebody's regimen. You got to learn what's best for you and learn yourself. What I can do to get myself started so I can get some type of consistency. I got to trick my mind into wanting to love to do this workout thing. And that can be, let me get up in the morning or let me work out in the afternoon. Let this be my diet. Let me do pull-ups like you said. Let me just do pull-ups and dips. Let me just hit the treadmill. Let me just take a walk. But whatever it is, you got to learn yourself and what works for you and not what works for the next person. Because what works for the next person is not going to work for you. And that's usually, the point. I strength train, so.
Oh, strength train. So yeah. What do strength train mean?
Like I power lift. So, everything
weights.
So I strength train with weights. So, and my workout regime is I push on Mondays. So push is chest, shoulder, and tries. I pull on Tuesdays. That's back and buys. I do legs on Thursday. And I do full body on Fridays. And that's usually a 4-day workout week for me. And I also implement yoga when I can.
Okay, so we coming down to pretty much the crash landing of this. So we're going to have a little fun with these little workout questions, okay? All right. I can't get to the gym. I don't got no money. I don't have a weight. And I got 20 square feet of space. What can I do to work out and stay in shape?
You get you a jump rope. You get you some 10-pound dumbbells if you can. If you can't,
No, I can't get.
You can't get none of that.
No, I can't. Get
all
none
right,
of that.
it's all free weights then. You know, you get you just doing jumping jacks, you doing all calisthenics, push-ups, burpees. Like my man Mars say, just do burpees, push-ups, burpees, jumping jack, high knees. Standing in place exercises. That's all you need to do. As long as you're moving your body, just move your body. All calisthenic work. You only got 20 feet of space. That's all you need.
I'm 300 pounds. In November, I got this trip that I'm going on the beach. I want to at least get to about 240. Can I achieve that by November? And what can I do if so? Without taking hydroxycut and the cancer people medicine that's making all the people lose the weight.
Well, the most important thing with anything is nutrition, right? And that's what another thing that people forget. Your nutrition is one of your most important pieces and aspects of fitness. What you eat is who you are. You know what I'm saying?
You are who you eat.
You are who you eat. So you have to diet the right way. You have to implement a calorie deficit. And a calorie deficit is, just making sure you eating the right amount of calories for your weight. So that is possible. You just have to eat. You have to create a diet, for that goal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I need to lose 260 pounds. So I need to create a diet and a workout routine to get to that goal. You know what I'm saying? So, for somebody that weighs 300 pounds, you still have to eat if you're going to work out because you get your energy from eating.
So what do I eat?
I tell people stick to the basics, man. And the basics is fruit and vegetables. That's a start. You got to eat fruits and vegetables every day. Oh. And I don't care who you is. Fruits and vegetables and water. Them the three main things in my if you want to ask me. You got to eat your greens. You got to eat your berries. You got to eat your whatever greens you want to eat. But, you got to eat your cabbage, your lettuce, whatever that is. But you got to eat your fruits and vegetables every day. And I always say, pick a source of protein. So for the most part, most people eat chicken and fish, right?
All right. See now you're coming on to my question because that's what I was about to say to break a myth to have fun, because I was saying, what if I'm super skinny, right? Like so, and I'm trying to get strong, but I don't want to eat chicken. I don't even eat meat. So how can I gain muscle and protein without consuming meat? Not on duty.
So you got a lot of vegans out here, right? And what they do is they eat a lot of beans and stuff and type in that nature, and then they also use like protein powders and shakes. So a lot of vegans, they use, a lot of vegans eat a lot of vegan products. But one thing I can say, if you're gonna be vegan, you want to also do it more of a natural way than eating a lot of like that. I can't think of the
like
vegan.
Beyond,
yeah,
like
Beyond, because that stuff is packed with sodium and all that, right? Yeah. So as much as people think that's the healthy alternative, go read the back of the box on the label. And if rule of thumb for me is if you need a science book to look up what you eating, you shouldn't be eating it for real.
And now to reiterate that, because for me, a person that's practicing vegan or whatever like that, it's the difference between getting Beyond Meat and making your own black bean burger. You know what I mean? Because now that you're using all natural products, it might not have the full consistency as that burger made with meat. But however, nutritionally, is giving you all the things you need to sustain yourself. And also with like the portobello mushrooms, I throw a little shake and bake over the portobello mushrooms, and if you kind of fry hard enough, you might think you got a chicken tender allegedly. But that's something that I learned. Don't try to make something vegan because you want it to taste like a burger. It's not going to be a burger. It's that cauliflower. Yeah. That's what it is. If you got it in the state of your mind, oh, this is a Big Mac. Yeah, you probably eating human meat thinking it's vegan for it,
That's a fact, man. People gotta understand that, man. The healthier you eat is not gonna have the best taste, right? And that's the problem because, and in order to get to that stage, you got to detox your body so you can get rid of, you having them urges to want to eat sugars and all that type of stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And it's not easy.
Now, speak on that detox, because a lot of people don't even realize their body have a natural addiction to sugar, a natural addiction to salt. And once they go away with it, like it might initially, it's withdrawal. So you're going to get a headache, or your stomach might feel sick from your body used to having something that is going without. But initially, when you find out you don't need it or got a desire, like me, eating some chicken right now, it just like wow. And in my mind, it's like I can never stop eating chicken. Like it's no way. Every time you walk outside the Chinese store, KFC, you walk in the neighborhood, you can smell chicken in the air. It's getting nice. It's summertime. People was grilling. You smell it in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
So you definitely gotta have a discipline. And not be like that baby. Oh, it's nasty. I don't want my vitamins. Give me the Flintstone. Yeah. You know what I mean? We can't basically be like that as adults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's so. Are you saying don't eat for taste, but eat for nutrition?
Like I said before, man, you gotta do what works best for you. So it's like, like I always tell people, because that's where people always go wrong. They try to go into, because for real, you don't just diet periodically. Your diet is supposed to be your lifestyle, right? Whatever you do, that's your lifestyle. Your diet is it's ongoing. I don't do that for 2 days and I'd stop for 3 days. No, that's my lifestyle. That's what I do from Monday through Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you do, you got to build those healthy habits, what works best for you.
So basically, it's not a routine. It's a lifestyle. So if you take it from being a routine and incorporate it as a lifestyle, then it just become who you are.
There you go.
And you don't got to worry about fulfilling an obligation. It's not a job. It's not a routine. It's you every day.
That's you. That's like me working out. That's my lifestyle. I got to work out 3 days a week. That's mandatory for me. You know what I'm saying? Me, like I said, I power lift. So, I strength train. So, chicken and fish is my protein source. So I'm eating chicken and fish every day. Mostly chicken. I mean, probably half a piece of chicken every day for lunch. You know what I mean? That's my lifestyle. You know what I mean? I'm eating fruits. I'm drinking a smoothie every day with beets. Beets are one of the best things for you, especially for somebody that's vegan.
Beets is the best thing for you.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I always tell people, try to feel yourself out, what works for your body, because your body's never going to lie to you. You know what I mean? Your body's going to reject what it doesn't need, and it's going to tell you what's best for you, like working out. I know I need to take a seat. I need to sit down this day. I know I need to work out. Like, I don't work out on Wednesdays, but, let's say if I skip Thursday, I feel bad. I feel down because I ain't working out. My body tells me what I need. So like I said, when it comes to people and creating like meal plans and all that, you got to figure out what works best for you. And also, like at the end of the day, you got to do your homework. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't do their homework and what they want to eat, and they want to just listen to people. Do your homework. We got all this social media out here. You got all these outlets. You got a lot of people, a lot of the right people giving out good information, but also you do got a lot of the wrong people giving out wrong information. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just a matter of, doing your research, digging a little deeper and, to what might really work for you.
So speaking of research, if the people want to like find you, follow you, ask you, a question individually as far as like health or any football knowledge, how would the people be able to get with you?
I'm on all platforms. I'm on Facebook. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. So, but the best place, as you know, to find me is on Facebook. On Facebook, it's my first and last name, my real name. First name, Rodreen, Rodreen. Last name, Howell, Howell. Then the next one would be Instagram. My Instagram, I got 2 Instagram pages. Cheese Spartan 1203, then also Cheese Spartan University, which is my workout page.
So we're going to go out like this. I would say we're going to go out with a bang, but that's not on duty, so I'm not going to say that. So being as though you on this strong stuff and you powerlifting and all that, who is your top 5, strongest tough men people of all time? I'm going to just throw one of mine out there. Get down, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But, that's just what I know. But from you actually being in the craft, what's your top 5 strongest people of the world all time?
That's tough. I I'm gonna go with people I know, man. These are people that really motivated me. So my first guy I'm gonna go with Cheney's own. I'm gonna go with my man Bo Thompson. You know, Bo and them was like, when I started working out with him back in 2022, gave me the urge to like really like want to, you know, get my bench press to that next level. My next guy I'm gonna go to is one of Cheney's own again, my man DeMel Chambers.
My man Mel, shout out to my man Chambers.
My man Mel pushed me to get to that next level of working out.
Bloodhounds, you know SP.
So he pushed me to that next level of wanting to you know, get to that next level of working out, learning the form of working out. You know, everything we doing, hitting the right muscles and all that. You know what I'm saying? So Mel, shout out to Mel, man. Mel helped me get to that next level when it comes to, you know, exercising. Now, you know, like I said, man, when it comes to these other guys, I'm gonna go to a couple of people that I follow on Instagram, you know, and these are guys I follow, in regards to, you know, high profile, you know, Instagram people. And one of these guys' name is Simeon Panda. You know, he a high level, workout expert or whatever, you know, and probably 1 million followers, you know, but you know, he's somebody that motivates you, man, you know, day in and day out, you know, just with his workout regime, you know, body type and everything else. Another guy's name is Charles Glass. Charles Glass, one of the best ever did it. You know, he, you know, was a bodybuilder back in the day. You know, now, you know, when you watch him now, he's just an old head just giving out all game. Shout
out to Charles Glass.
Charles Glass, all game, you know. That's somebody I follow on the daily to, you know, perfect my craft of working out, you know. And I'm going to get his last one, man. Like I said, man, I'm going to shout my old head out again, man. My old head, Suleiman. You know,
shout out to Suleiman.
He motivate me on a daily basis, man, because like I said, he's 67. He look like he's 30. And he keep up with us and work out every day. And the reason why I got to put him at my number 5, we call his workout called the Cage, right? So in LA Fitness, we got this, it's like a squat machine, a squat rack. And, you know, he put us on his workout. And this workout cooked all of us. And we was doing it for like let's say like a 8-week basis every Tuesday and Thursday. You know what I mean? It was 7 workouts in one. I see to break the best of people. They came over and tried to do it with us one time, and that was it.
Did the Burpee King do it with y'all?
He ain't jumping that one. No, Mar ain't jumping that one.
I'm gonna have to talk to him about that.
But Mar definitely got his thing. He definitely got his thing going on in the gym, man. And yeah, man, he definitely giving off that knowledge, and you know, he got a good thing going on. Mar got a good thing going on, man, with the halal fitness thing, man, over there, man. You know, so shout out to Mar, man, and also shout out to my whole LA Fitness family.
And we appreciate, you know, having you, man. We would love you to come back, talk about some more footballs, definitely when this 2025-26 season, and we see if your predictions was accurate, man. See if you know what you're talking. We see who these people draft, man. It's been great. You're always welcome to TBIC, the best in sports entertainment.
Like you said, man, the best, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm always available, man. Just send an invite.
Peace.